I am once again called forth to address an absurdity in the MRA, or as I now call them, the male ridiculous assholes. Today we shall talk about Vernaculis, who complains about a video Steve Shives did months ago on the now-defunct Breakfast Club channel. It seems Mr. Vernaculis has an issue with Steve having a successful marriage.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Steve. It's nice to finally make your acquaintance. Cheers.
It's Tuesday here at the Breakfast Club. I'm Steve. How's it going?
Not too bad. And yourself? So, Steve, where are you from? You'll get it later.
That's right. Beer instead of coffee. The downward spiral begins.
You know, many a truth is said in jest, Steve. Don't worry, I was just joking. Look, I know she's right behind you, so look to your right if you want us to send help.
I had some thoughts about a picture.
All right, fellas, call it in.
One of the ways these male ridiculous assholes keep subscribers is by pandering. They pander to the idea these fools hold that men who are happily married are actually miserable. They pander to the idea that the men who lose out in the big picture of life and romance are actually the winners. This pandering is of course done in the most cynical way to promote their own channels, get in clicks, views and donations. The fact that this male ridiculous asshole starts the video response by referencing Steve's marriage and implying his wife is dominating and insufferable is a clear indication of how blatantly dishonest he is and how dishonest this video will be.
That a friend of mine shared on Facebook the other day. I'll show you the picture. It's this picture right here. It's taken from, apparently taken from a sign on the LA Metro, and it reads, "Respect to our women passengers, please refrain from the following: staring, masturbating."
Oh, wait, what does the sign say? Oh.
Following.
This sign is displayed from the interior of the actual metro car, where 99.9% of people are either sitting down or holding on to a grip of some type so the acceleration and deceleration doesn't make them fall all over everyone else. It's like putting up a sign that says, "Remember to put gas in the car" at a bike shop. It doesn't make too much sense.
So apparently our wall-eyed friend knows that at no time. Has any man ever seen an attractive woman on a metro train and followed her off of the train? Because when that same man was on the train and it was moving, he had to hold on to a rail or be seated, which would totally prevent him from following her off the train at the next stop, where she exited in some strange farcical world. Perhaps he is an absolute idiot, or perhaps he is just pandering to absolute idiots. It can be hard to tell.
Unwanted touching.
Do they just assume that men are going to do this?
I will assume the viewer of this video will understand where I am going here in terms of his blatant dishonesty.
You know what, let's get through the rest of the list.
Unwanted conversation, asking women where they're from.
So this sign is telling me that unwanted conversation and asking women where they're from is disrespecting women. How am I supposed to know that a conversation is unwanted unless the woman initiates it? I can't. I don't have mind-reading powers, neither does any other man. So this sign is basically telling men, don't speak unless you're spoken to.
Limitations, we all have them. It is the women who ride the metro who began this campaign. It is they who want to take out billboards making it absolutely clear they don't want your attention. I think that it is time you came to terms with that, both as an individual man and as a group of entitled white males. You don't get to do whatever you want whenever you want to. Women who ride the metro are not there to entertain you. They are not there for some kind of hookup or meet and greet. They are going to work. They are going home from work. All they want is what that billboard says, and Steve is bringing that message. No one cares if you don't want to hear it. These are the rules: obey them or be arrested. Following someone off of a train is stalking them. Going up to strange women and demanding that they speak with you is harassment.
And even if you are spoken to, don't ask women where they're from, or else you're disrespecting them. You know, throughout my entire life, I actually found it respectful to ask people some background information on themselves. It shows that I'm interested in their life story and who they are as a person. That's why I asked you where you were from, Steve. That's generally one of the first questions people ask when in a conversation with another human being. How are you? What do you do for fun? Where are you from? What do you do for work? All of that introductory stuff. This is how people meet. But it seems now that attempting to meet women is disrespectful.
The fact that when women reject the advances of men they are often attacked seems to be completely lost on you. I can't wonder if it is on purpose, so you can go on pandering. Clearly society sees an epidemic of violence against women. Clearly there are headlines everywhere about what happens to women after they refuse to talk to a man or reject him. Immediate rape, immediate beating, immediate murder. Your argument is that it hurts your feelings to follow the laws put in place to keep women safe in public. That is appalling. I again will reiterate that it is women who want these rules in place, so the message is clear from the women who ride the metro to you. Leave them alone, follow those rules. Their safety is much more important than your man feelings and your male entitlement.
Yeah, how dare these men attempt to converse with the likes of me? How disrespectful of them. Not every woman agrees with that sign. Not every woman wants to be avoided by men because they don't think that the simple act of attempting to have a conversation with them means you see them as a lesser person. Where the fuck does this come from? And how entitled do you have to be in order to think that?
It is you who clearly feels entitled. I would also add that you failed to produce any article or opinion from a woman to represent the idea that not all women feel this way. It is clearly in the business interest of the Metro to stop the harassment of women since it clearly hurts their bottom line. The fact is men are not the only customers of Metro, and if the Metro cannot be made safe for women they will not ride it, and the Metro will lose customers. As a typical white entitled male, all you can think about is how the public arena is a place for men to constantly ask for sex when that is inappropriate, and the women have spoken on this matter. The billboard is their voice. The Metro has every right to conduct their business as they see fit, and clearly they have looked at the evidence that you so clearly avoid addressing in order to come to the proper conclusion.
Seriously, how goddamn arrogant and self-absorbed do you need to be to think that someone attempting to talk to you without prior consent is disrespect shown to you? Holy shit, this is fascinating.
And then the little fine print down there says, these actions create an unsafe space and contribute to violence against women.
Did you feel unsafe when I asked where you were from, Steve? If we were sitting across from each other on a subway and it was getting slightly awkward just averting our eyes from each other, and I initiate a conversation by saying, so, where are you headed? And you didn't want to have that conversation, do you feel that a violent threat is imminent? Or at least there's a higher likelihood that you'll be attacked if I spoke to you in that exact tone?
Another example of you completely avoiding all evidence to make your ridiculous video. Women are raped and murdered on a regular basis by strange men. And yes, they should be afraid of men like you, as well as the men you pander to. You pander to them, and in doing so make women unsafe, because you tell these men it is okay to frighten women by bothering them in public for their time and attention, which they are not entitled to.
I'm going to guess that your answer will be no, Steve. But I'm going to ask you, why is it no for you, but yes when it applies to women? What's running through your mind when you're trying to answer this question? If the answer starts with, well, because I'm a man and, or, well, it's because women are, then you've already lost. You've already shown yourself to be a sexist of untold proportions.
No, he has not. You have shown yourself to be an idiot of untold proportions, for God's sake. I can only assume you are as stupid as any wall-eyed hillbilly, or a total lying scumbag at this point.
I honestly believe that you think women are so fragile that saying hello to them makes them feel unsafe. And also contributes to violence against women. How in the fuck is asking a woman where they're from contributing to violence against them? Where's the connection? There is none. There's absolutely zero connection between these two things, Steve.
The complete dishonesty or stupidity of your argument is astonishing. You would have to be living in a box under the stairs of your parents' house for years not to know that on a regular basis men speak to women right before they launch an attack. For God's sakes, just watch the news, or open a newspaper, or fucking Google it.
Now, I'm going to address the masturbating thing now, and just show how this little game works.
Trigger warning for images of masturbation, but no genitals are shown. So this is how the game is played. Men do these things to women on a regular basis, and fools like you pretend they don't. You make false assertions that there is some kind of equal behavior on the part of women in order to give cover to this kind of nonsense, while simultaneously playing the victim of an imaginary crime.
There was a campaign in Edmonton where champions of this cause put up flyers stating horrible things with the phrase, "Don't be that guy," underneath it. If I recall correctly, there was a picture of a woman passed out on the couch, and it said, "Just because she isn't saying no doesn't mean she's saying yes. Don't be that guy." Another one was, "Just because you help her home doesn't mean you get to help yourself. Don't be that guy." Now, anyone with an unwashed brain can detail why these posters are a bad thing. First off, men are not date rapists. It makes the assumption that this is a massive problem among men and needs to be eradicated immediately, as if men in general find it maybe okay to have sex with a girl, even if she's passed out. And that's fucking disgusting. It's a disgusting stereotype to be tossing around. They're lumping in the actions of a tiny percentage of a population with the behavior of the group as a whole. Then, a men's rights group in Edmonton did the exact same thing in reverse. They portrayed different scenarios of false rape accusations and said, "Don't be that girl." And guess what? They called that while still maintaining a defense of the original posters. Rape apology and misogyny, and how it portrayed a harmful stereotype of women, as if women all over the place were just falsely accusing people of rape willy-nilly. How dare they suggest such a thing? What would you say if I put a sign up in the metro asking people to respect our male passengers and state, "Don't stick your asses in their faces"? I mean, I'm sure you'd agree that it isn't appropriate for women to stick their asses in men's faces, so what's the problem with it? I'd assume you'd say because it promotes a harmful stereotype of women. But in this case, you're totally on board, aren't you?
That was such a stupid clusterfuck I had to let the viewers see and hear it in its entirety. You offered no evidence of women putting their asses in men's faces. You merely make a false claim to give cover to the rest of the stupid and unsupported remarks you will make next. Clearly there are many men who rape women. Clearly many men feel if you have sex with an unconscious woman it is not rape. Here I have provided some examples. The first is a rapper who is raping women by drugging them, and the second is a lawmaker who clearly is confused about consent. If these men are this confused, how many other are? Well, let's see. Here is a man who filmed himself raping an unconscious woman. And here is a story about fraternity brothers carrying unconscious women to their fraternity houses to gang rape them. Oddly, I could find no examples of an outbreak of women putting their asses in men's faces. Your stupidity and dishonesty are stark. That is not even bringing up men like Bill Cosby, who now faces accusations that he drugged and raped or attempted to rape 35 women. Your suggestion that false rape allegations should be held in the same epidemic levels as rape by rendering someone unconscious is ridiculous. You see here a study by Stanford University claiming only about 2% of rape claims are false. I have heard it can be up to 10%, but considering that only about 40% of all rapes are ever reported, I think you can see the ridiculousness of the comparison. It is a typical male ridiculous asshole tactic.
Let's see.
If you are unable to refrain from harassing other passengers, please change seats and notify the bus operator.
Hey, where are you from? Where are you from? Excuse me? Where are you from? Excuse me, bus operator? Yes, I'm sorry, I just can't refrain from harassing people.
So that's the image. It was shared by my friend Neely on Facebook, and the first comment under the picture when she shared it was some dude asking, why does it say respect women passengers? Why doesn't it say respect all passengers?
Yeah, why doesn't it say that? I mean, we wouldn't want any rogue female harassers asking men questions about where they're from. Do you want serial polite questioners walking around, Steve? I know I don't.
MRA or male ridiculous has whole false equivalence alert.
And it ties in very closely with another commonly heard stupid question, which is, why do they call it feminism? If it's for gender equality, why do they call it feminism? Why doesn't it just refer to itself as humanism?
That is a marvelous question. One would assume that a movement that wanted to make language pretty much gender neutral would extend that restriction to the name itself. But I'm sure there's a fantastic reason for it. Another question. Why are feminists so hostile to people advocating for men's rights? Just tossing it out there.
And the reason I say that this is a stupid question is because it ignores the obviously apparent reality that you can see just by opening your eyes and observing the behavior and the traditions and the values and the customs of the culture that you are a fucking part of.
You mean like putting up signs asking men not to jerk off in front of women on public transportation?
It is a shame that so many male ridiculous assholes make so many false claims. I wonder if they actually believe them. What is it like to need to lie to yourself continuously in order to feel your opinion is correct? What is it like to have to build a mental wall around yourself to deny facts? How pathetic, really. I will link this in the low bar for anyone who wants to learn more about street harassment and how it affects women.
Even though that's one of the rarest fucking events on the planet, and telling men not to speak to women unless the woman initiates it. What are men to the people who put this sign up and support it? Well, they're chronic public masturbators, creepy stalkers, and people who just can't seem to keep their hands off of women. And what are women to the people who put this sign up? They're fragile flower petals who feel in danger when asked where they are from. And it even goes so far as to say, if you can't refrain from harassing the passengers, please notify the bus operator. Dear women, if you can't stop shitting into your own hands and then smearing it all over the windows, please notify the bus operator. How is that any different from, hey men, if you just can't help but whip your dick out and start beating off, please tell the bus operator?
The difference, you pathetic idiotic fool of a man-boy, is women don't shit in their hands and smear it on windows. There are clearly, as I have proven here, men who will do disgusting things to women and murder them if they complain. So pull your disgusting head from your disgusting ass and wake up to reality.
How insulting can you get? That's the culture I see. I see the culture that assumes men can't fucking behave themselves in a public setting. And that doesn't want men speaking to women because the very act of being spoken to make women shiver in fear. I see a culture that demonizes men and infantilizes women. And men are telling you, fuck you, I'm not a monster. And women are telling you, fuck you, non-monsters don't scare me.
You have failed to even attempt to prove your claim that women are rejecting the idea of wanting rules on the metro to stop men from behaving in a disgusting fashion. The only women who side with the male ridiculous assholes are basically the female ridiculous assholes, much like this clown. The women of the MRA are such a minority as to be laughable by any standard. The ones on your side are a bizarre clown car full of women who are both strange and afflicted. They engage in the same type of dishonesty you are using here, to pander to the same rubes and pick their pockets.
The reason why it's called feminism while advocating for gender equality is because females are the gender that are the underprivileged, underserved gender. It's the same reason why we call it the gay rights movement. It's not because we think gay people deserve to be better than straight people. It's because gay people are in the inferior position and we want to raise them up to equality. That's how you attain equality. The reason why the sign on the bus, on the metro, says don't masturbate to female passengers is because female passengers are the ones who are made to feel unsafe by that behavior.
I have removed most of the male ridiculous assholes questions for Steve because they are the literal Bible for these groups. Pat questions that are just stupid, based on assumptions that are mostly false and a waste of time. By doing this, I have restored most of Steve's video. I would address one small thing. He at one point says men almost never masturbate on public transit, and hereafter Steve says women are the ones who suffer the most. His need to be the male victim is so strong he literally makes the case that the man sitting next to the masturbator is the real victim.
Yeah, because the guy sitting next to the guy masturbating is just totally comfortable, feels completely safe, and isn't creeped out at all.
Now, I'm not saying that a female passenger on a metro has never just openly started masturbating to a man. I don't want to say for sure that that's never happened, but I would guess that the ratio is pretty lopsided. It's mostly men doing that to mostly women. That is the nature of the problem that the sign is meant to address. That's why it fucking says respect our women passengers, not respect all passengers. It's not an accusation that you personally are a rapist. So drop this hypersensitive defensiveness and either grow up and learn to accept the fact that we live in a society where there is gender inequality and where it disadvantages women, and that is a problem that needs to be addressed, or toddle off to the men's rights movement subreddits and bitch and moan with the other guys who are upset at the unfair divorce settlement, or because they never get to see their kids, or because the girl they like won't go out with them. There's a place for you. It's called the men's rights movement. It's a little bubble of misogyny on the internet that you can go and be with your own, and when you ask them a question like, why does it say respect our women passengers instead of respect all passengers, oh, you will have such a warm, welcoming response. They will not mistreat you and abuse you verbally the way I have just done. They will love you and support you for everything that you are, a deeply oppressed holder of a penis whose life has been ruined by these mean, nasty women. So I would suggest, if you can't hold up in the real world where these problems really exist and where people feel the need to try and address them in real ways, put in your application for membership in the vaunted He-Man Women Haters Club.
I'm begging you not to have any children. Especially not sons.
And just be happier over there. That's my suggestion to you. If you look at a sign like that, or if you look at the term feminism and you just can't understand why it refers specifically to women, go there. Go there. They want you. They will accept you. Personally, I have no use for you.
Feminazi stole my ice cream. But I'm a nice guy. I am laid low by the matriarchy. Take the red pill like in The Matrix. The Matrix is a good movie. I am afraid of women. I am afraid of myself. I am afraid. And that makes me angry. I am afraid. I am afraid. I am afraid of women.